The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Best yawning of the week, because the weekend starts today. Also, let this be the best yawning of the week because you got to get up early tomorrow morning and check your mango tree. You got to get to the mangoes before the raccoons get to the mangoes and before your lovely neighbors get to the mangoes. So let me give you a reminder for mango season. If you're taking mangoes off of people's trees and you don't want to be considered a thief, then you got to leave at least half of what you pick at the door of the person you pick it from. Let's not be like that. And at the very least, you got to leave a note that say, God bless you for sharing these mangoes. Please be kind. Please be kind and respectful. It's not that people don't want to share their mango. Like I have a rule. If you come by my house and you stop to get a mango and I see you, and you have your wife in the car, I ain't gonna just give you one mango because you ain't gonna get to eat it. Your wife can eat that. So the rule is, if you see boy riding with his wife, you gotta give him two. You gotta give him two because we respect the institution of marriage and we understand what it takes to make it work. Well, good morning, Bahamas. It is Friday, the 14th of May, 2021, and you're on the clock with Erin Greene. On the clock, we engage organizations, institutions, social and cultural leaders, and ordinary people to better understand the impact of public policy, private sector development, and emerging social and consumer trends. On the clock, we have conversations that help us understand and navigate a rapidly changing Bahamas. Today's show is brought to you by the Department of Inland Revenue. Also, a brief ad. The census goes digital. During the months of April to July, the Department of Statistics will be conducting a listing exercise to build a database to support the first ever national census data collection via a digital and online process. The listing exercise will include all buildings and dwellings in New Providence, Grand Bahama, and the Family Islands will be listed by enumeration district. This message is brought to you by the Department of Statistics. Well, today is Culture Fridays, right? Friday. We have wonderful guests on Friday, artisans, craftsmen, craftswomen, musicians, painters, woodworkers. We are bringing to you conversations with Bahamians that are keeping culture alive. Now, just before we go into this discussion with our guest today, Mr. Rashid Demerit, I want to just touch on some things in the paper. First and foremost, it's time to vote for the Miss Universe Bahamas costume. Go online, find the site. I can be honest with you, somebody shared a WhatsApp link with me. It's too long to share with you right now, but go online, search Miss Universe Bahamas, and vote for the costume. And when you go vote for the costume, right, hit me back up. Call the show, message the show. Tell me what you think of the costume. I like it very, very much. I would be inspired if I saw that costume on Bay Street. Let me tell you why. First of all, it looked like a lead piece. Second of all, a woman pulling it. And that's it, you got me. But third of all, it's all Bahamian. The thing is all Bahamian. I just have one question. One question. Somebody tell me those little animals at the bottom of the costume are the swimming pigs from Exuma. And I am very upset at whoever thought that they should put the swimming pigs of Exuma over the Royal Bahamian pot cake. I really thought that was the Royal Bahamian pot cake on that costume, and I did love it. I was in love with it. And then somebody tell me it was swimming pigs. And it ain't half bad, but it ain't as good as the pot cake. The pot cake is Bahamian. The pot cake is the best. Anyway, make sure I vote for Miss Universe Bahamas' costume. On another note, there is an interesting article about prisoners and vaccines. Prisoners and vaccines. We're not getting into the article. I just want to make this brief note. Prisoners, although they are incarcerated and under the supervision of the state through the Department of Corrections, still have limited rights. We need to be very sensitive about how we have this conversation. And when I say sensitive, what I mean is this. Please rely on the advice of the Attorney General's office or a legal expert before we start having conversations about who should and should not get vaccinated. Let's just have a legal opinion, please. Because prisoners do have rights, and those rights have to be carefully considered. Just because they're in prison don't mean they don't have the right to make decisions about their body and their medical health, right? Or their psychological health. These are things that they still have. Prison, the punishment is restricting the freedom of movement. That is what prison is. Restricting your freedom of movement. And then when we go beyond that, we get into this territory of possibly breaching rights. I see you got a caller on the clock. Caller, you got even 45 seconds because I got to get to my guest this morning. You're live, caller. Oh, that's my guest. I am glad. I thought you were coming in on the Zoom, but I am glad you are here. All right. So, my guest this morning is Mr. Rashid Demerit. He is a visual artist and an art teacher. Good morning, Mr. Demerit.
Mr. Demerit.
Morning, Erin Greene. And also, good morning, Bahamas. Thanks for having me on the call today.
Absolutely. Doc Davis, we're going to get to you in a moment. The great debate shall still go on because I basically put my neck on the chopping block. But to Mr. Demerit, good morning again.
Morning.
So tell us about your work. What type of visual arts do you practice?
Well, first of all, I would like to start off by saying art is life. So basically, I focus everything based on art. So strictly, I go hard with drawing and go hard with sketching, go hard with even coloring, painting, and also too, I go hard especially on jungle pieces and also carving as well too.
All right, so I heard a couple of things in there. Let's start at the beginning. Art is life, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All of what you do is art related or inspires your artwork, is what you're telling us?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
I always try to push the motto artist life. Everything I do, it's just for the love of it. Okay. Especially I'm strong. I build everything based on Bahamian art, and I'm really trying to push it, especially throughout my students. So I'm just trying to push the motto: art is life.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then you talked about some of the work that you do, carving, junkanoo. Now, when you say junkanoo, right, do you mean you work in the shack and help construct pieces? Do you help design the pieces to be constructed? Or are you taking scenery and examples of junkanoo art and placing them on canvas?
Let me answer your first question first, Ms. Greene.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I take every art aspect, especially art such as drawing, especially sketching, especially carving. I take all of that and I put it inside a junkanoo aspect. And I also create the costume from scratch, better from cardboard, better from styrofoam, better from rod. I create it from scratch and also decorate it from beginning to end. So I always try to push Jonkunu as well too, because Jonkunu is an art form. Jonkunu is a Bahamian culture art form, which is considered art.
Absolutely. So, have you seen the Miss Universe Bahamas costume yet?
No, mom, I haven't seen it as yet. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting to get the images and the pictures. I haven't seen it as yet.
Absolutely. It is exactly what you say that you do, right? It is like a Junkanoo lead piece.
Yes, mom.
It's beautiful.
I wish I knew the name of the designer.
Unfortunately, I couldn't find the name of the designer on the app. But
No
let's
problem.
let's sort of move forward from there. Where can we find your work?
I always tell people the power of social media is really, really strong. Okay, so I always recommend people to find me, to locate me on Facebook. My Facebook name is Rashid's Pictures on Facebook. Rashid's is spelled RASHEED apostrophe S Pictures. And you can also find me, contact me at this number at 636-8491.
Repeat the number for me. Can you?
636
Yeah.
8491.
Absolutely. I was able to take a look at some of your work last night, and the pieces that stood out to me the most were actually the seascape, the images from the ocean, the lionfish, and the turtle.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Yes, ma'am.
What type of, is that a watercolor? Do you work with watercolors? Do you work with acrylics? Do you work with mixed media and found items? Like I know there's a project in the works where people are attempting to create art with only locally derived pigments. So like they're taking, go on.
To answer that question, Ms. Green, I work with any medium, especially water-based. Acrylic is my strength. I would say I would stick with acrylic, but I try to better my skills in all mediums. Okay, because all of them is paint, so all of them does the same job. So I'm more stronger with acrylic, water-based as well too.
All right, awesome. I'm also an artist. I don't know if I qualify to like a visual artist like you, but
Yes, ma'am.
I make Junkanoo ties. I use the Junkanoo fringe technique with various media, so it's straw, cloth, newspaper, cray paper, magazine print, right? Anything that can be fringed, I apply it to ties, right? To construct a socially conscious dialogue.
Right.
And I was inspired by the artists that were in the scene where I would perform comedy, right? Like that's what inspired me, and friends that had art galleries that
Right.
were open to other types of activities going on in that gallery. And that's what inspired me
Right.
to make art. Where is your inspiration? Where does your inspiration come from? And what was the thing that kick-started this journey of life as art?
Okay, I'll start from the beginning. I know we're on the clock, but this is not going to be really long. I'm going to keep it short and brief.
Yeah.
I attended primary school such as St. Thomas More, and then from the second and the third grade, I realized I could draw. Okay, and after I left primary school, I went to high school, which is Aquinas College, and at Aquinas College, I stumbled across this art teacher, and he was really cool, and I really learned a lot from him. His name was Mr. Chuck. Okay, he was my inspiration, and he showed me how to draw, okay, the correct way. And he also taught me that there's no wrong way how to do it, because everybody is different. Nobody does things the same way. So however you feel comfortable in doing it, then that's the way how he taught me how to do it. Do it my way, okay? So he taught me how to become my own artist, okay? Also, too, whilst I was in high school, I got involved into Junkanoo, okay? Whereas I learned a lot of cardboard work, especially from Bola Francis. I also worked in the shop alongside with him.
Mm-hmm.
I also learned one or two stuff, especially from other members within the group. So it was a bullet that I couldn't dodge. Okay,
Yeah.
so I involved whatever I learned inside high school. I involved whatever I learned inside high school and also Junkanoo, and I incorporate both of them together and try to bring art and Junkanoo to life. Okay, and so I learned how to base my talents, even to become strong in the cardboard, even to become stronger, especially inside the styrofoam as well too. So all those skills that I learned inside high school, I carried it towards college. Okay, so I took up art education in college, and college is where I decided to become a teacher, just a teacher.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
Go
I
on.
incorporated wherever I learned inside college, high school, and Junkanoo, and I decided to take all of that and put it into one big art aspect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So look here. While you were talking, would you believe that a couple of people in this building shout out to me that they knew Mr. Chuck too? And he was a phenomenal teacher.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Mr. Chuck taught so much. Yes, ma'am. Mr. Chuck taught so much people that went to Aquinas. He was an inspiration to a lot of Aquinas schools.
Yeah.
I must say.
And people, I imagine people in the Catholic school system. But now you are a teacher,
Right.
and I imagine that you are inspiring young students in the same way that you were sort of consumed in inspiration. So let me ask you this. How do you balance making art and teaching art?
Well, the teaching aspect of it is the 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
Okay. And I always tell people, when you get off from work, try to do something creative every day. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Be creative every day. Try to do something creative every day. Okay. Even especially when you get off from work, because who knows, whatever you do every day, what you get good at, that may be your money maker. Okay. So I realize art is my money maker. So when I get off from work, all I typically do, I just go home, I draw. Whether it's something just for a bulletin board, I just draw it.
Yeah.
Whether it's a portrait, I go right ahead and draw it. Whether it's just a Junkanoo design, I just find ways to try to get better. I try to, expand my creativity. Okay.
Absolutely. Okay,
Yes,
so we're coming towards the end of the session. I don't want to cut it short, but you got a big responsibility to get back to class and to these students that need you. And so I want to say thank you so much for being here with us. I got one last question for you, and then I see I got this caller on the line. Kermit, let's get to the caller dead quick, because I'm hoping it's somebody that wants to speak to you directly, Rashid. If not, hopefully they will pause. Caller, you're on the clock.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Erin,
Hey.
I think you would make a good wife. But what I want to ask the gentleman, right?
Yes, sir.
The first time when he described the artwork in which he did with the seascape and stuff like that, I said to myself, now seascape was here for a long time, but the fish, lionfish, just came about.
Yeah.
So I was wondering why he didn't put a Bahamian fish in there, and what's the reason for the lionfish? The first thing came to mind is the color.
Yeah.
So I would like for him to explain that to me, why he put the lionfish in there.
Rashid, why did you choose the lionfish of all the things in the ocean?
Well, I wanted to capture the lionfish wings.
Mm-hmm.
By far, the lionfish is a very beautiful fish. I've seen some images. I've even seen some documents of the lionfish swim inside the water. And the wings, the fins of the lionfish, it just captured my eyesight.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to capture every detail within the fin, within the tail-like part of the lionfish, and I just wanted the Bahamians to actually realize how beautiful the lionfish really is.
Absolutely.
So,
Thank you.
can I make a little comment on that?
Absolutely. This is
So,
Dr. Davis.
So, because I do ecology, and I was actually part of the mitigating threats of invasive alien species in the Insular Caribbean project, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had to deal with the lionfish when it first started invading the Bahamas. And this is something that a lot of people don't realize, but invasive species can also invade our culture. If you look back, we used to have paintings with sea grape, and now we have paintings of poinciana, which weren't there before. We used to have paintings of, different flowers and plums and stuff that are native to the Bahamas, and now we have a bunch of casuarina in the paintings.
Wow.
And we used to have paintings of Nassau grouper and turbid and grunt and snapper, and now we have paintings of lionfish.
Yeah.
As a person who's promoting Bahamian culture and leadership in Bahamian culture through art, I'd like to know how our guest is really researching what these different elements are that he's including in the art and how he's using that to represent our Bahamian culture, or if he's recognizing his influence on how people treat and think about the environment.
Ah, all right. And if I could sort of get my own question in there, do you, Mr. Demerit, as an artist and someone in particular who believes that art is life, do you see yourself having a responsibility in the documentation of Bahamian life, right? In this process of documenting Bahamian life through art, do you feel you have a responsibility to preserve culture, right? Or is your role just to document what you are seeing?
Well, I feel like especially if it's part of the Bahamian culture, I think we need to try to preserve it some way, somehow, because we don't want it to go extinct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, especially the lionfish. I also overheard a lot of people saying that the lionfish is not really Bahamian. I always hearing a lot of people saying that
Well, it
somebody
isn't.
brought it there.
It's
Okay?
there's a
But
go on.
But all the painting was saying to viewers that lionfish is really beautiful, and I also know that the lionfish, it is poisonous. Yes, I know it is
Venomous.
poisonous.
It's venomous. Yeah.
I know that it's almost extinct. It's almost coming extinct inside the Bahamas. But I just only wanted to capture the beauty of the fish. Okay, that's all I wanted to capture.
Absolutely.
I also was working on a barracuda recently.
Mm-hmm.
I just haven't released it as yet.
Okay.
But I always try to keep seascape, especially Bahamian. Okay, because I always try to capture the Bahamian culture, the Bahamian sea life as well too.
All right. So I got the last question for you. You have just been appointed the Minister of Education and Culture, since you want to be a teacher and an artist. What is your first policy initiative?
Wow. Wow, what a question. If I was appointed the Minister of Education and Culture, I'll take it from the top. Now,
you only get one decision.
I believe.
It's hard to make a decision in 5 years in Bahamian politics. One decision.
I know, Mom. I know. Trust me, I know. But the first thing what I would have done, Mom, because I work inside shacks, okay, I know what a lot of people have to go through, okay? There's a lot of people that actually devote their life, when I say devote their life, from morning, noon, and night inside those shacks. I know a lot of people now, they can't wait till Jonathan picks back up.
Mm-hmm.
So inside my agenda, I would give a lot of junkanous a steady job, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And also too, I know there's a lot of junkanous out there. So what I would have done, I would have give every junkanoo group at least a museum. Within that museum, I would actually have each junkanoo group could display their junkanoo work, especially the artists was in the shacks.
Mm-hmm.
I would have them to have a chance to display their art pieces, whether it's drawing, whether it's painting,
Mm-hmm.
whether if it's just carving.
Or construction
Give them an
technique,
opportunity,
yeah.
give them a chance to just display their work, and then have that as a nice little government job for every artisan, and especially inside the museum, have a little studio to the back so they can also work year round.
Yeah.
Even though I know junkanoo is only once it only happens once a year, and it's only 2 parades, let them work year round.
Yeah.
Because when jungle kicks back up, a lot of people would be excited.
Absolutely. Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Listen, thank you so much, Mr. Demerit. I don't like cutting it short, but I also don't like getting pinched from teachers. So I got to let you get back to work and get back to those wonderful students who you are inspiring with your own commitment and dedication to Bahamian culture.
Ms. Erin Greene, I really appreciate this opportunity, and thank you guys so very much, and thank you, Bahamas, for having me on the call today. Thank you guys so very much. You guys do enjoy the rest of the weekend, and thank you so very much.
Absolutely. Thank you for committing yourself to Bahamian culture, sir. I'm going to read through a couple of texts just before we go to a break and bring in our second guest. And my first text says, when are they going to paint the rest of the roundabouts? I'm going to be honest with you, text, at this point, some of the people responsible for painting the roundabouts don't know what they're supposed to put on them. Second text, I thought you would want to see a Chickchani on the costume. That's not how the Chickchani works, sir. You can't just see it, right? Like it's magic. But I wanted it to. I thought it could have been a Chickchani. Is it a Chickchani or a pot cake? And then it turned out it was the swimming pigs. I have a text here. Mr. Chuck was the best, and that is from Demorbell Claire. Thank you, Miss Claire. Another text. Mr. Chuck was the best. I have a few of his paintings hanging in my house. Listen, when we talk about inspiration, right? We talk about how artists inspire people and how teachers inspire people. We see the power of that in these two people, Mr. Rashid Demerit and his personal inspiration, Mr. Chuck. And then I got my favorite text of the day, Miss Green, 6 more years FNM. If the FNM could give me 6 more years of mango from my mango tree, I will consider voting FNM. That is a promise, texter. Let's see how we could work this out together. Listen, you are tuned in to On the Clock with Erin Greene. We have just listened to a wonderful segment with Mr. Rashid Demerit, local visual artist and teacher. We're going to roll into a break, and when we get back, we're going to start the great debate. Topic, Toastmasters is the devil. Debaters, Erin Greene and Dr. Anselino Davis. We'll be right back after the break.
In life, there are always challenges. Today, we find ourselves having to be more self-sufficient, socially aware, and technically savvy. At J.S. Johnson, we are committed to our customers by providing cost-effective insurance solutions. No matter what your insurance needs, we will always be here for you. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com. J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, giving you peace of mind.
Have an outstanding real property tax bill? Take advantage of our Real Property Tax Forgiveness Program. Bring your account to zero and receive a 50% discount on your outstanding tax and surcharge past 180 days. Or get a payment plan. Make a 25% deposit on your outstanding tax, receive a 100% waiver on the surcharge, and pay the difference within 36 months, interest-free. Contact the Department of Inland Revenue at 225-5778 or email us at rptforgive@bahamas.gov.bs. Offer ends May 31st. Have an outstanding real property tax bill? Take advantage of our Real Property Tax Forgiveness Program. Bring your account to zero and receive a 50% discount on your outstanding tax and surcharge past 180 days. Or get a payment plan. Make a 25% deposit on your outstanding tax, receive a 100% waiver on the surcharge, and pay the difference within 36 months, interest-free. Contact the Department of Inland Revenue at 225-5778 or email us at rptforgive@bahamas.gov.bs. Offer ends May 31st.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Morning, Bahamas. Welcome back to On the Clock with Erin Greene. Today is Friday, the 14th of May, 2021, And today's show is brought to you by the Department of Inland Revenue. Before we get into the debate, just a little housekeeping. I have another ad for you. New services alert. Request a birth, death, or marriage certificate online today. This is just one of the many government services that are now available online. Visit mypilotservices.gov.bs to register today. This message was brought to you by the Ministry of Finance. Now, just this little housekeeping. First off, to see Mr. Rashid Demerit's work, you can look for a page called Rashid's Pictures on Facebook or contact 636-8491. Also, my second housekeeping note is just a note about the lionfish, and I'm going to make it very quick. I used to run a little small lionfish campaign, so I am a semi-expert, but I know Dr. Davis is far more expert than I am. Lionfish is not the local fish per se. Now, some Bahamian fishermen say that they have seen lionfish in our waters for far longer than the invasion. And what I have determined is that there are two types of lionfish. There's the Indo-Pacific, and then there's like a South Atlantic, Indo-Atlantic, South Atlantic lionfish. And one is more pernicious, like one is more, what's the word? Like hungry. One propagates, it breeds faster, it produces more fish at a faster rate, and that fish is the fish that was brought here either in bilge water, in a fish tank, it's somehow brought to this side of the world. The second point is this: lionfish is not poisonous, it's venomous. Barracuda is poisonous. You eat the poison. Venom is shot into you. So if you get stuck by a lionfish, the lionfish will pump the venom into you. But a barracuda is poisonous. If there is a toxin or poison in it, you ingest it, you eat it, and that's how you get sick. And that's the difference between venomous and poisonous. The lionfish has not been eradicated, and it is not close to eradication even. And we really need to figure out how to get lionfish on our plates and on our menus so that we can manage the population, because it will be virtually impossible to eradicate it entirely. And the importance of eradicating it, like my good friend Dr. Davis said, is that invasive species can shift culture, right? And one of the risks with the lionfish is that the lionfish will eat or can possibly eat all your little baby crawfish, all your little baby grouper, and all your little juvenile fish, right? And deplete drastically the stocks of the seafood that are most precious or valuable in Bahamian culture. And that's why we got to deal with it. See, this is similar to the question of the banana thief. You see, the banana thief, that's the invasive species, the thief, is shifting food culture and the way that we eat bananas and treat bananas, right? It's a similar thing. So we really do have to focus on the lionfish, which is why I appreciate the artwork, because it's a place to begin a conversation. Now, to the debate. Oh, wait, just Dr. Davis? You still there?
Yes, I am.
I have a text here, and it says, why would someone eat a lionfish?
Well, the same reason we eat anything, because it's delicious.
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, I've eaten lionfish all over the Bahamas, and we've taught people how to capture, kill, and prepare lionfish so that you can eat it. Lionfish fritters, lionfish fingers, just grilled lionfish, or
lionfish tacos.
When you fold it in a foil pocket and grill it on the open fire.
Yeah, broiled lionfish. Yeah. It's
good.
Not just that. I can tell you right now why you should eat lionfish, because it tastes better than grouper. Grouper is a scavenger. It is wake hard and clean the bottom of the ocean. Lionfish is a lazy fish like Nassau people, and they just sit by the reef and suck down all the juicy, succulent, tender seafood and little fishes, right? So the fish itself is tender. It's not super oily at all, but it doesn't dry out. and it is a meaty fish. So when you buy a lionfish that's a comparable length to, say, a snapper, you're going to get more meat on that lionfish than you're going to get on the snapper of the same length, right? And I even recommend to business people who make food, like we make lionfish tacos. Lionfish is perfect to add into our menu because you can sell the lionfish fillet to a particular market that wants boneless fish, and you can cook the wing or the shoulder in traditional Bahamian dishes like boiled fish and stew fish, or you could mince it like you mince turbot or lobster, or you could mince it to make tacos like we make, right? And so it tastes good, it's plenty fish for your money, and it's versatile. That's why
but
you should
also remember that the lionfish, one time we opened one and it had, 28 different fish inside its stomach. So if you let the lionfish grow up, they're eating all the baby grouper and snapper before they can grow up. So by eating the lionfish as well, you also protect more grouper, snapper, grunt, and all of those other fish so that they can grow up and you can have them available to eat later on.
Absolutely. And somebody is reminding me that one way that we can eradicate the lionfish is by keeping its image and alive in our consciousness. And the text is reminding me that I could talk about lionfish the same way I talk about mango and tamarind and soursop and dilly. And you're absolutely right, Texter.
Or you could talk about lionfish the way you talk about Toastmasters, because lionfish is the devil.
Listen, let us get into it. Thank you very much. But look here, let me read these last texts dead quick. Somebody say, when you get the bellies, you make your bed, you lay in it. You don't really get the bellies with lionfish. So here's the thing. The venom in the lionfish will be denatured or destroyed when you cook it above temperatures, in a temperature exceeding 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Your temperature to fry is 180. Your temperature to boil is 212. So if you are cooking your fish correctly, then you run no risk of getting sick from the fish. If you are eating lionfish ceviche, there are some things you need to know. You need to be able to trust the vendor you're getting the ceviche from, because the fish has to be caught in a particular way. You don't want to spare the fish and break the exoskeleton system where the venom is and have it bleed into the fish. So most people who are catching fish for ceviche ask the fishermen to hook the fish in the mouth, right? Or catch it in a pot, but to reduce the risk of the venom bleeding into the body of the fish. Don't be afraid of lionfish. And where can you buy it? You could buy it at any local dock, but you're going to have to find a fisherman and put in an order. So I would check out Montague Ramp. And just very quickly, I can tell you why Montague Ramp. Because the lionfish business in New Providence was sort of driven by the high-end restaurants that were selling it, and high-end restaurants attached to hotels. Those restaurants require a particular style of catching, and they want a fresh fish. So the fishermen that tend to catch lionfish for that market go out on 1 day or 2 day trips. And the people who leave from Montague are your people who go out on 1 day and 2 day trips. And that's why you go check Montague Ramp for your lionfish. But now back to our debate, Dr. Davis.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
You ready? You ready for this?
So let me start. Earlier this week, I made a very bold statement. Toastmasters is the devil. Now, mind you, I also extended an invitation for members of Toastmasters to come on the show and talk about the organization and my bold statement. Dr. Anselino Davis, local conservationist, environmental advocate, and educator, and my guest from a few weeks ago, is also a member of Toastmasters and reached out to find out what I could possibly mean when I said Toastmasters is the devil. Well, this is a phrase that comes from a stand-up routine I used to perform. It is political satire, interrogating our inability to sustain collective, coherent discussions on virtually any subject. Now, the phrase intends to inflame and to provoke the listener to question the culture of style over substance, or flam culture, that exists here and seems to be the foundation of our political culture. Dr. Davis.
Well, Ms. Erin Greene, thank you for inviting me here as a representative of Toastmasters. And not only am I a member of Toastmasters, but I am the Vice President of Education for the AGOC Nation Builders Toastmasters Club.
Yes.
And as Vice President of Education, I try to support our members in learning and developing the skills to be a confident speaker and to deliver their message accurately, efficiently, and powerfully. Today, I am responding specifically to your statement
Yes.
that Toastmasters is the devil.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to focus on a few key elements of that statement.
Mm-hmm.
Firstly, what is Toastmasters? Toastmasters is an organization that's dedicated to supporting its members in being more confident public speakers and leaders in their organizations so that they can coordinate and organize the events and projects so that they can then support their communities around them.
Mm-hmm.
The next part of your statement is the devil.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pronouncing it with the two B's.
Yeah, that's how I pronounce it.
The devil.
Yeah.
Now, throughout human history and culture, the devil is a stereotypical character that's used primarily as a scapegoat to embody things that can be targeted and labeled as wrong or incorrect. In your show, you were particularly speaking on the way speakers focus on the flamboyance and the showmanship of a speech,
Mm-hmm.
which, yes, we do use in Toastmasters. We teach our speakers to avoid crutch words like like, so. And we also teach them to use their hand gestures appropriately and effectively at the right time, to vary their speech, their tone of voice, how quickly they speak, how slowly they draw out words to create emphasis. And yes, there's a lot of Toastmaster members who are representing political organizations. They may be sitting in leadership in other organizations around the Bahamas. But really, Toastmasters isn't the reason that our culture leans toward a flamboyant speech with a lack of content.
Mm-hmm.
We have many, many examples of people who are not connected to the Toastmasters group at all, who have been delivering amazingly energizing speeches and changing people's minds and convincing people of lots of random, what I consider nonsense.
Absolutely.
And they are not supported by facts and evidence or the truth or even a considered logical explanation for why they say things they say.
Absolutely. Listen.
That's not necessarily what Toastmasters is there to guide. Yes, we do support our members in writing out a proper thesis,
Mm-hmm.
making sure that your speech is organized, well-structured, that you know how to do research so that you do provide factual evidence. But we don't go into every political party and challenge them on those things because, to be fair, that's not what the political parties want. They want to get more votes. They're not necessarily looking to be factual.
All right, Dr. Davis, let's take a moment here. I got a caller on the line. I think they've been calling back and back. Caller, you're on the clock. Good morning, caller. You there?
Yes, ma'am. Dr. Hello?
Hi, turn your radio down for me.
Okay, ma'am. Dr. Davis, good to hear you today. And you are so awesome. I'm also a Toastmaster from
Awesome.
Club 1600, and I want to say good morning, to those brothers in Club 1600, and then to the other Toastmaster clubs that have entertained the ladies, because Club 1600 is a little biased. We don't really entertain the ladies as a Toastmaster. But I said that to say this. It is communication. I asked the last American ambassador when our country shared that international acquaintance, what is America's weakness? And he said their weakness is their strength. And he was speaking in regards to communication. Communication to me is very important, and I like the young people to know how important it is to me. It is because not everyone was born with a gold spoon, so to speak, in their mouth as relates to communication. Some of us have to be taught. And so I want to encourage the hostess of this show for doing a tremendous job. And remember, every voice is communication, no matter what level it is. You can learn from every level, and that's the beauty of communication. And so that which is your strength can also be your weakness, and that which is your weakness can become your strength. Have a blessed day today, everyone.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. And a good morning to Club 1600, even though y'all don't let women's them in. Dear women, don't send no fruit to Club 1600 unless you're married to them, in which case you have to. You sign up for it.
Oh, Lord.
So,
on that note, if anyone does want to join a Toastmasters Club, they can reach out to me. And thank you very much, Erin, for spelling my name correctly on every piece of social media that you put out. So if you can spell my name correctly, you can find me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and connect with me. I'll help you come to see actually what a Toastmasters meeting is about, and we can move from there. Perhaps you could find your passion in public speaking and free yourself from those shackles of fear of public speaking as well.
Absolutely. I want to invite Toastmasters to invite young, aspiring politicians into their space and create a space for political discourse and dialogue and discourse at a policy level, so that young aspirants are prepared for that workspace, but also so the average Bahamian could begin to better understand the language of the policymaker. But Dr. Davis, tell us more, why is Toastmasters important for personal, social, and national development?
Now, so far we have spoken primarily about the speech element of Toastmasters. But if you're a political aspirant, or if you're engaged in the political realm, or even if you work in some industry, government as well, you need to be able to follow a meeting agenda. You need to be able to lead a convention, organize speakers, hold people to task when you say, you come to my event, I give you 15 minutes to speak, you have 15 minutes, and then cut you off. We practice all of these elements. When we watch the debates, I remember watching that first debate with Clint Watson was hosting, and I was really upset with a lot of the management aspect of it. And those are things that you can get experience in through Toastmasters. And we actually have a program, a system of curriculum called Pathways. And so someone may come into Toastmasters thinking, I've been in leadership for a while, but every time I get up on stage, I'm nervous to speak to my team. They want to focus on that speech system, but there's another person who they can speak at the drop of a pin on any topic that they know about. But when it comes time to plan a meeting, they always fumble, and they run out of time. They don't get things coordinated. They don't know how to follow up with people about their meeting responsibilities. We have a pathway for that. We have leadership pathways, engaging humor pathways for those dry speakers that you hear, and He's like, man, this person says a lot of intelligent stuff, but boring as a broomstick.
Yeah.
Right? So we have different pathways for different people who have a wide variety of reasons for being more competent public speakers, although that's the core.
Mm-hmm.
We also want people to be more well-rounded.
Do you have junior clubs or clubs specifically for people in high school?
Yes, there are different versions of the Toastmasters for people in high school and even younger folk. And you can join a Toastmasters club pretty much at any age.
Awesome. That is awesome as well. Boy, look here. We are almost out of time. But let's talk about if the article that you sent me. Dr. Davis sent me an article from a Toastmaster that addressed the issue that I attempted to address in my very inflammatory commentary. And the article is called Toastmasters Has a Problem It Desperately Needs to Address. That was written by a Toastmaster by the name of Al Pitts, right? I found it was a wonderful article. And then I realized that the Toastmasters is a whole community of thinkers and communicators, like our caller, a member from Club 16 said, and communicators. Can we delve, like, does Toastmasters have a magazine? And is this something, I think it's something that people should be reading regularly. Where can we find more information and articles from Toastmasters? Because
yeah.
You go on.
Most definitely. So firstly, Toastmasters.org. That's your core entrance site for you to learn about Toastmasters, to find out what we're doing, where the nearest club is to you, how our speech competitions and things like that are going, and to join up and to sign up to become a member. Also, if you search on YouTube, you can search for the International Championships of Public Speaking, where you will actually see these different Toastmasters over the years who have challenged the people in their club, then their area, their district, their country level, the regional levels, and come to an international stage to challenge other Toastmasters that have beat out thousands of people around the world to deliver a single speech that is crowned the championship speech of the year. And I think that's a really interesting way to see some of the diversity of speeches that Toastmasters deliver. But also, I feel we need to recognize all the people that work behind the scenes. And we often don't give them enough credit. You can have your political leaders, they get up on stage and they deliver a 3-minute speech and everyone's cheering and hooping and hollering, but there's someone in their group, in their team, who has coordinated that political rally for the past 6 or 7 months. And those people never get credit, but you can learn to do that and pull off an event like that in Toastmasters.
Absolutely. And I think it's important for people to realize that the speech, right, the communication, the things that are said, and the way that they are received by the audience are also dependent upon the space, right, that they are said in. And like you say, we don't focus enough energy on the people who create or curate the spaces that we speak in. Well, listen, guys, Angelino, you know that music means it's time for us to go. It's 11 o'clock, and Levon Miller and Unleash must be up next. So I want to say, if you want to hear more about Toastmasters, you can reach out to Toastmasters.org, or you can look for Dr. Angelino Davis on Facebook, and that's ANCILLENO, Angelino Davis. To my texters, thank you for sharing with us today. Another text here, simple for people who don't eat conch. Some group of species eat conch, okay? So don't eat them, leave them for me. Big fish eat small fish. This is true. For people who don't eat conch, group is a scavenger. You may just be eating conch. The things you learn when you ain't paying attention. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Davis, and thank you to Rashid Demerit for spending time with us this morning. Remember, if you want to see more of his work, look for Rashid's pictures on Facebook. Thank you for tuning in, Bahamas. Thank you for holding on, Dr. Davis. It's been a wonderful show. I hope you've enjoyed this Culture Friday. Like I said before, stay tuned to 96.9 FM Guardian Talk Radio because Levon Miller and Unleashed is up next. Have a great day, Bahamas. Have a wonderful weekend.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.